social media, wouldn't you agree, Tiffany? It's kind of it's a must now, right?
What I'm seeing is just getting creative on the old standards.
I mean, it's beyond just building like a social proof. It's where you could find your potential clients.
These are not the MySpace days.
No.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Out and About podcast, where we break down all things marketing and financial services, what we're seeing working. So, whether you've been in the marketing seat for decades or just sat down and were handed the social media account, we're here to support you. So, today we're talking about just that. We're talking about social media and really specific question around that. We're joined by Jimmy, who's kind of been my my companion through this whole journey. We're glad to have you back here. And we're talking about, like I said, one of our most asked questions, which is which social media platform should we be on? So we're going to
Yeah.
try to do this in 20 minutes, right?
Yes, we're gonna try and do this in 20 minutes. And for those that are tuning in for the first time, I'm Jimmy. I'm the marketing analytics director.
Yes.
Therefore, I'm here on this episode talking about social media because social media has analytics, has data. Yeah, I mean everyone's kind of like, I mean social media, wouldn't you agree, Tiffany? It's kind of it's a must now, right? It's no longer like a yeah, I don't know if I want to do it.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And that's the irony. Like, you and I are old enough to remember when social media started and the decades of our career where it was like, I don't want to be on social media. And like, that's cool. You don't have to do that. But now it really is, I think for multiple reasons. We preach the same message, but number one, when people search you, they're gonna notice if you're on, when they're searching your brand, they're gonna notice if you're on social media, if you've been posting regularly. It shows that, it's a living, breathing company. You're actively doing things. And also just SEO and AIO, which, we've talked about recently in recent podcasts. There's a lot of data showing that LinkedIn, especially in other platforms, feeds into those language models. So, it's important that you have messaging out there, and it's the consistent messaging, and it's sharing how you want to be showing up, where you want to be showing up, and all those things. So yeah, it's not a these are not the MySpace days.
No. And the thing is, people, at the end of the day, we're all consumers too, right? And we would all, if we just take a step back, we would all just, probably most of us, I would say, would remember at least one instance where we're curious about a particular brand or company, we want to maybe make a purchase from them. You look at their website and then you go, okay, I'm still not quite decided. Like, where else are they on? Like, let me see what they say on Instagram. Let me see what they say on LinkedIn. Let me see. Kind of depends on what exactly you're looking after. If it's kind of more maybe consumer products, then maybe on Instagram, they might have a TikTok. If it's something more on a professional level, you go to their LinkedIn, you kind of see, oh, who's there? What do they say? Things like that. And then you form the impression, which again, if we're talking about the funnel, that helps you make a decision, right? Like, do I want to move further or do I want to go to another different brand now?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because if you just sit back and think about consumer, your own consumer behavior, there will be outliers listening. I know, say like, oh, I would never do that, but we all do. I think especially thinking of service providers, you do tend to check out, like, if they, again, especially LinkedIn or Facebook, if they have, if they've been posting things, like, they feel more legitimate, right? Than if you can't. Like, I mean, even just like like I said, a plumber or something like that. You're just like, okay, so they're actively in business. They're like legitimate, versus someone who's not. It's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to feel that they're valid if you don't have that going.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
presence is not just, again, limited to the website. I mean, years ago and years ago,
Yes.
when websites, internet, everything, right? It's like, do I need a website? If
Exactly.
I have a storefront, that's good enough, right? I have a
Yes.
legitimate street address, people can find me
Yes.
at a business directory. But it's kind of social media is kind of like the next step in the evolution that, yeah, if just like if somebody doesn't have a website now, nobody's gonna question, do I need a website? I
Yep.
think we're moving into like social media is almost getting there to like at least one will work. Which probably brings us back to the question, which one? How do we pick?
Yes. Yes. Okay, we need to talk about what we're saying yes to, but I have to ask because it's a fun question. So, I guess two questions. We don't want to totally show our ages here, but we can show a little gravitas that we have
Put
seen
the
the
filter on.
evolution. Yes, we have
Turn it
seen,
all the way to the max.
you and I are old enough to have seen the evolution of social media a number of times. So I have to, did you have a MySpace account back in the day?
No, but I'm aware of it.
You did not have one. Okay.
No.
And two, do you remember when you got your first Facebook account?
Yes.
Like back in the like,
Oh, I
oh, I was
remember
gonna
the
say back in the
day.
throwing sheep days, but I was like a first gen, like when it was could only be, this is actually gonna show my age, so feel free to Google, but I joined Facebook in college when you had to have a college email address. Like the first round of Facebook, when like
Oh.
the purpose of Facebook was, to meet up with your classmates. So like you had to have, and like colleges had to like join on. Not the college themselves, but you know what I mean? Like, so I had to use my college email address to join. And you like joined up with people in your classes. Like this is what you like looked up. And for me, like linguistics 101, oh, who else is in this class right now? And like now you can meet up for coffee. It was a simpler time.
That's okay, so that's interesting. I kind of consider myself like the first gen of the Facebook users as well.
Okay.
But my experience was different. It wasn't tied to school.
Okay. I mean, it shifted. I mean, if you've seen like things happened really fast. So,
Yeah, I think,
yeah.
yeah, you're right. It probably switched really quickly.
Hmm.
Mine wasn't tied to that, but when I first joined, all we did was throw sheep at people.
Yes.
That
Throwing
is that
sheep.
is the true sign if anyone knows what they're talking about. When they
That's
talk
right.
about first gen Facebook. I
Yeah.
throw a sheep at you, you throw a sheep back at me.
Yes. And then I
That's all
can
we do all
remember
day.
like a few years later, Twitter came onto the scene and I remember having just a daily routine of like sitting down with my coffee in the morning and like checking Twitter. And Twitter was at a point where it was like conversation. Like the same kind of people logged in. I was in this like marketing space and we would all just like, how's your day and whatever. Like at the same time, it was like such a simple time. Such a simple time for social media, right? Like Twitter is not even called Twitter anymore and it's used in a whole different way, like very reporter journalism driven. It's just yeah. So
This,
I'm
well,
sharing this to say like now there's just so many platforms, and we have this sense of like you use Facebook for that. Facebook is for those people. LinkedIn for this. LinkedIn, but like it started from a simpler place, where it was
yeah,
just
just
it
as a
was
communication platform, right?
communicating.
Like
Yeah, it's
networking, communicating.
mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, and also just as a fun fact, um, well, for those again kind of not familiar with my background, so I grew up and worked in Singapore, so Facebook was there. That was as in when I experienced Facebook, that was there. So that could have been something that could have had something to do with why it was slightly different. The other thing is when Twitter was like happening and getting really popular, it actually wasn't taking off in Singapore. Like we would
Okay.
know of it, but nobody really used it.
Yeah.
Kind of like how like WhatsApp was more of an Asia,
Yes.
kind of app, and then it
Yes.
took years before it's a lot more adopted in the US,
Yes.
which kind of
Were you
again
using
just,
something else or it was just Facebook?
huh?
Were you using something else or just Facebook?
Back then, yeah, it was just Facebook.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, so it kind of ties back to it's the same thing. It's the same app. It's the same program. But then, the different people using it, like it depends, right? Depends on the people that are using it, the countries, if we're talking
Mm-hmm.
within the US, probably even, yeah, the locale and things like that.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna break form and let that kind of be our yes, because I think we're gonna speak a little bit into that. Or do you want to share kind of what we're saying yes to? Maybe that'll be a
Yeah, I
good
mean, I'll
segue.
just go straight into it.
Should we just go straight
Saying
into it?
yes to picking social media of your choice just by being really like calculated about it. So
Yeah.
just not like, oh, what is the most popular one? Let's do that. But kind of like where are the social media platforms, what is my target audience? And again, for people like, how do I know what my target audience is? Well, literally, what look at your clients, kind of group
Yes.
them, where the majority of them, and then if anything else fails, go for age, right? Age is always one of the easiest in demographics, and then do some research and see, oh, this age group, do they use Facebook or do they use Instagram or do they use something else?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying yes to.
I love it. Yes, and I'm going to be yeah, I not going to be talk, but what I'm saying yes to, I'm excited about social media. What I'm seeing is just getting creative on the old standards. So we just talked about Facebook's been around for just a hot minute, and I feel like we're already or still, or coming back to having conversations with clients around like, well, what else can we be doing? Or should we go back to Facebook? We were never on Facebook and all this kind of stuff. So and then we have clients, which I just love, who are like, oh, I never got on Facebook, and I just want to hug them because they, I don't know, they may have chose something.
Protect them.
Yes, so they may
Put
have.
them in a glass dome. The precious.
I know that's a whole other thing we could talk about. Is just like the whole what has it done to us? But anyway, we won't go there. It's out there, and SEO's using it, and Google's using it, and people use it. So we can talk about just using it in a way that serves the business. So I want to unpack the question a little bit. Which social media platform should I be on? Because it does come up with our clients a lot. I know you and I are in those conversations a lot. And it's really a question of, I think, twofold. Where should I be actually spending my time? I don't want to just be creating to create. I mean, we always say this, marketing shouldn't just be a creative project on the side. Like, I don't want to just be spending money, spending time, spending resources. And also, am I actually, reaching more people? So I guess the question kind of comes in two ways, where people are saying like, are there social media platforms we should just be getting rid of? Like, do we need to be on X? Do we care about this or that? And on the flip side, the clients are often questioning, is there another platform we should be using? Are there more people out there that we're not reaching because we're not posting on whatever platform? And usually the conversations are around LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Occasionally Pinterest has come up. TikTok, of course, comes up. Reddit comes up. YouTube, if you consider that a social media platform, which I think you could in some ways. I don't know which ones I'm forgetting, but those are kind of the ones that we constantly think about.
Yeah, these are the ones. And then there's like Snapchat,
Yeah.
Discord. Just the list just keeps going.
Oh, I know. I have not been in a conversation yet with a client who actually asks if we should be on
Like
Snapchat.
Snapchat. That would be really interesting.
Like,
Um,
okay, where are we going with this campaign? But yeah, the others for sure. So what are your thoughts? I mean, where do we start?
yeah, that I would say, like, especially if we talk about financial services, right?
Yes.
Or yeah, I would even say just industry wide, minimally, you should have LinkedIn because that's for your company. It's kind of like social proof, right?
Yeah.
It
Yep.
shows there are real people hired there. People can poke
Yes.
around. And as we have been talking about, people are curious about people, about other people. Go to the website, check out the team photos, team, who's on the team and all that. So I would say, and now if I kind of pull it back to financial services, so definitely LinkedIn is part of your starter pack.
Yeah. I love that.
And also, I think that's where you get insights, right? I mean, it's beyond just building like a social proof. It's where you could find your potential clients because you could look at job titles, you could
Yes.
look at locations. I mean, LinkedIn is the one place where I feel people are just safe space in a way. Like they go there because, this is a professional networking platform. They put the
Mhm.
name, they put their location, they put their company name, they put their title. All of these give insights to them. And the other thing then I would say in your starter pack would be potentially like Facebook. If you
Mhm.
have the additional time to do that, I would say then Facebook because again, looking at demographics, Facebook users will be probably quite safely, we could say, in that retirement, nearing retirement or in retirement age. And if you're in retirement planning, then yeah, Facebook. Yeah, and if you're doing other things like you're creating even more content, video, podcasts, like what we're doing, then
Mhm.
like Spotify, Apple,
Oh
YouTube.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would say I would agree with those minimum. LinkedIn, starting Facebook second, and then YouTube if there's videos and things like that. Especially, I mean, YouTube is Google. It's searched a lot. I want to point out too, not only those two reasons for LinkedIn and Facebook with the audiences and purposes, but also the I don't know what's the word, like the technology, the ability that you have on those two platforms is so much we're so much more limited. Okay, on the others. So like Instagram, we can't put here we are, 2026, we still can't put a URL in the caption. So until that changes, that's always been, there's workarounds, there's link trees or whatever, there's all these workarounds, which still just feels so clunky.
Cumbersome.
It is so cumbersome and it feels so old school. I mean, again, you and I've walked through social media evolutions and there's always been these like workarounds and you plug this into that and like I feel like so many things are smoothing out except like Instagram you still can't and oh what's the other one you just mentioned that I can't think of now? Well, like TikTok is still limited by the TikTok. Sorry. See, there's so many. Twitter or X is still limited by the number of letters, and then for a while you couldn't put a headline image because they were trying to keep people on the platform. I don't know if that's changed or not, but there's limitations.
Yeah.
Whereas Facebook and LinkedIn are still, you can do carousel posts, you can do a video post, you have huge amounts for caption and long form captions are doing really well these days. You can put the captions in the link in the comments. Like there's just so many smooth, organic ways to share information. You know what I'm saying? They're just
Yeah. Yeah.
they're just hefty. They're just really good for that. So I feel like that's why sometimes we're like, if we're gonna go to another platform, we need to have a really good reason for it, or just keep it baseline. If we want to stay on X, we just keep it simple and we just do it the same way every time. Same with Instagram. If we're gonna go there, the link to we just keep the link in the bio is the blog, to the blog post. I don't know, it's like, whatever, jimmy.com/blog, right? Like it just stays that way. And we just remind people they can click on that. Like you just keep it simple.
Yeah, you're right. And I think it's, just also being aware of the limitations like X, yeah, the X,
I
the
know.
social media platform formerly known as Twitter.
Yes.
What was it? It started with 120 characters and then it increased, I think, to 180, if I'm not wrong. If somebody knows the actual answer, you could let
Well,
us
I think
know.
it doubled at one point. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
it was really limited when it started. It was like, I can't even remember, but
Yeah, it was really little. So, there are limitations on each platform that you need to be aware of. And also the other thing, the behavior of the users are also different.
yeah, let's
We've
talk about
obviously
audiences.
established
Yeah.
the demographics are different. Where I would kind of maybe make it even ever slightly more confusing is that same demographics will be using two platforms differently based on how the
Yes.
platform works.
Yeah. Tell us about
Like
that.
you would use Facebook a certain way and you don't change your age, you don't change your demographics, but when you move to Instagram or TikTok, just simply because it's built to
Yes.
train you to use it in some way, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we have to keep in mind of that, and also when choosing, kind of keep in mind what are people there for.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn is there's a lot of learning on LinkedIn. Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
again, it's we have to remember it was started with like family, friends, networking, things like that. So if we post something, is that something like put yourself in the shoes of a client? Is that something I would feel comfortable liking? Because if I liked it, if I
Mm-hmm.
share it, my family is gonna see it. Things like that. So I
Right.
think as we unpack, it starts getting a little bit more granular, but those are just things that we have to be aware of because it takes effort. It's not just about, okay, we have this thing. Now we're just gonna, how many social media platforms we have? We'll just duplicate it across all and it
Yes.
will work. It most often don't.
Hey, marketer. Here with a little post-production note. So Jimmy and I had such a great time with that conversation that we didn't want to stop. So we continue to answer more questions around content, which social media platforms you should be posting things, all that good stuff. We even answer a question around Reddit. So make sure that you are following along. You can follow us on LinkedIn. You can hop on our website, outandboutcommunications.com/community, sign up for the newsletter, or just subscribe here on your favorite podcasting platform and YouTube to make sure that you don't miss that part two. And we are excited to answer those questions. So follow along and we'll see you in the next one.